I know what you're thinking. You're just like, how many times are you going to talk about TVs on this channel? Well, TVs are just one of the most popular topics, one of the most popular things that we discuss on this YouTube channel alone. And gaming is practically the other thing that we also talk about, especially on our previous video that we just uploaded with Xbox Game Pass and all the tiers that you have access to the full game and certain modes on Black Ops 6 and whatever. But yesterday, so we were discussing about a few days ago how we were going to get rid of two, at least, of our LED TVs, and we were going to get two new OLEDs. Well, we've actually changed our minds. We're still going to get the two new OLEDs, like hopefully here in the next month or so with the S90C, if it is still available, and then we're still right now debating on whether if the LG C4 or the B4 is going to be the smarter option of which one of those two when we decide to get the LG OLED, our last LG OLED. But we were going to sell our Sony X90K and our Hisense U8H, both 2022 models. Well, yesterday we actually decided we're just going to keep them because honestly, I love OLED and I love LCD TVs, and like we mentioned, OLED is what we're going to be playing on for a long while, like our LG C1 and our Samsung S95B. Those are the TVs we're going to continue to enjoy our gaming experience on, and then once we get these other two, we have backup in case we ever get burn-in or the OLEDs start to get worn out over time. And honestly, like, what has brought us to decide to not sell our LED TVs now, even though we were actually going to get rid of two of them, well, Sony is still a very good brand, and I honestly love their X90 series of TVs, and the X90K is a very good one, and the X90L, which we are still making payments on. We only have like a couple more $100 left to finish on paying it off, and that's when we're going to get it done, is by next month in July, and then hopefully we can decide to start a new lease and hopefully get a Samsung S90C on a lease, and then we'll have it through October is what I'm trying to say, to pay it off, and then we'll probably wait till like either Black Friday or Christmas time, or even heck the start of 2025, and hopefully see if there's good discounts on either the LG C4 or the LG B4. But if the C3 is still available, which I highly doubt it won't, we might actually get the C3 instead for being a lot lower and still practically almost the same as the C4, just minus 144 hertz refresh rate. So, yeah. So we've actually decided we're just going to keep our LED TVs, because LED TVs, even though they don't have as good colors and like contrast levels like an OLED does, they're still very good overall, especially when you compare to the ones over the last few years. Like, we have LED TVs that look better in the last few years from like 2021 through 2024 than what we had like back in 2016 going through 2019. So we have honestly some nice impressive LED TVs right now than what has happened, back in 2016 through 2019 sort of. And the Sony X90K, Hisense U8H, and just having full array, being much more brighter, and just having many LEDs, honestly, like, they just mean a lot to us. And I have a friend who I talk to that also loves this kind of tech, which he's a supporter on our channel, and he comments on some videos. So if that's you, Bailey, watching this video, just so you know, I'm talking about you, Bailey. You, my dude, Bailey Roberts. But honestly, like, mini LED is still very good. Sony full array is still very good. Honestly, I mean, TV's just what we love. This is just what we absolutely like. But the plans of like these two OLEDs that we do get, like I stated, OLED is what we are going to primarily start playing on. Like our C1 and our S95B are what we're, like I mentioned early part of the video, that's what we're going to continue to play on. But the LED TVs that we currently own, they just mean so much to us. Like Hisense U8H and TCL QM8, they have awesome local dimming. Both of the Sonys are not far behind from those. They do have some blooming and they don't get as bright as the Hisense and TCL ones that we currently have. But there is a nice feature that the Sony TVs do have, and I think I remember mentioning this on one other previous video a month or two ago, but you have the access on a Sony TV to lower the screen. Like if you look at that C1 right there, like you have the option to turn, like go to a game menu setting. If you hit a certain button, it'll bring up a selection of like little icons for like settings that you can change on gaming mode. And one of them is, instead of playing on full screen, if you have a big screen like this, you can literally shrink the screen down to like a monitor size, and you can literally set up right on it. That is honestly a cool feature that no other brand does except for Sony. And honestly, like if you are somebody that plays console gaming, or you do play PC gaming, and you play on a 65-inch or 55-inch or 75-inch television and such, and that's what you enjoy, well, if you have a Sony, either from 2022, 2023, or one of their newer ones, being either the Bravia 3, Bravia 7, Bravia 8, or Bravia 9, you can actually shrink your screen size down to a monitor size, and you can sit up close to it. And that's a nice, awesome gaming feature that, like I said, no other brands have. Especially even if you're a console gamer or a PC gamer, and you are like a first-person shooter type of person playing Call of Duty, playing games like Borderlands, you know, games that are really demanding, that are, you know, really severe, that you have to like stay focusing on. That's an awesome feature on Sony TVs for those hardcore gamers out there that play games like Borderlands, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and the list goes on. So that's another reason, also what has brought us to this point, to not get rid of any of our Sony LED TVs at all, even though we were going to get rid of one. Because honestly, like, each individual brands have their own pros and cons. It doesn't matter. Even OLED versus LCD. OLEDs and LCDs have their own pros and cons. LEDs can get brighter than what OLEDs get. That's a pro with an LED TV versus an OLED. But what is a pro with an OLED is you get infinite contrast, you get nicer, richer colors than what you get on an LED TV, and the picture looks a tad bit crisper than an LED TV. So right there are the pros when it comes to OLED. But the OLEDs don't get as bright as what an LED TV gets, so that is a negative on an OLED versus a positive on an LED TV. So no matter what the odds are, they're always going to have pros and cons with each individual panel type. Even with LED and mini LED. Like, mini LED is going to get brighter, but you also get dimming zones and such like that. You get a lot more local dimming zones. Mini LED over a full array is always going to have more positives than a full array, but there still is some cases that some full array TVs will still look better than what a mini LED TV from a certain brand will look. So this is what has actually brought us to this point of deciding to keep our LED TVs, even though we're buying 2 new OLEDs in the near future to help in case if our current OLEDs ever break. And honestly, something tells me this is absolutely the smartest choice that we could ever make. But once we get these two, like I mentioned, starting in 2025, we're looking at buying a house, this kind of stuff. We're going to have to start saving money, and once we get these, that's what's going to have to That's what's going to happen. So I'm trying to say. I know I was like screwing up there. I was trying to figure out how to say it. But that's what we're thinking about doing. And in order to even get close to that, we have to start saving, and we have to also worry about improving ourselves and all that good stuff. So just wanted to make this as another video for today that we have decided, even with getting these 2 new OLED TVs that we're going to be getting here in the next upcoming months, we decided we're going to keep our LED TVs, meaning our Sony X90K and our Hisense U8H, because they're just so good. And honestly, like, they just mean a lot to us, especially when it comes to the Sonys. Having the option to play on a monitor size, to shrink your screen size and play closer on like first person like type of shooter games that people would probably actually use. That's just a nice feature that Sony TVs don't have. So might as well just keep them. So yeah, so we're going to keep our LED TVs, and right now, if you want the list of the TVs that we currently own, I'll also say them right now, and I'll also put them in the description after we also put in the description what this video is about. But we got 4 OLEDs at the moment. They're the LG C1 and C3, and then we have 2 QD-OLEDs, the Samsung S95B and the Samsung S90C. And then when it comes to LED TVs, we tactically got 5, but one of them is going to be for like if we ever get, you know, a person that ever lives with us or comes in and moves in with us, then I'm going to take that TV down and put that LED TV up for them, because honestly, we don't even use it that much, and it's a Vizio. But the 4 LED TVs that we do have, that we currently own, which you already know, are the Sony X90K and the Sony X90L, and both are full arrays. And then mini LED wise, we have the Hisense U8H and the TCL QM8. And I already can tell that whoever that's going to say in the comment section, you're going to be like, wow, dude, you have so many nice, incredible, beautiful TVs. Like, truthfully, we do. Like, even the Sonys, the lower ones that we have, even though they're still premium in their own way, they still also look pretty darn good and still have really good performance. So, yeah, I know. We have a lot of nice, beautiful TVs, but this time of buying them is actually starting to come to an end, and we're actually starting to get very burned out. And like I mentioned, we have to worry about saving money, and also worried about in the future if we ever decide to like do something like buy a house or whatever, we'll have to like get started to even get closer to that point. So yeah, so I just wanted to make this video with you guys, and this is probably going to be the last one. We're going to talk about TVs for a while, because honestly at this point we've gotten so much gaming information and whatnot. The only thing I could say what might change and what might make us talk about TVs again is practically what's going on with a certain person that you probably know of from watching this channel a while back. And yes, we are talking about the guy named Quantum TV, because now he's actually starting to call out Digital Trends, Tech with KG, all these other TV companies, well, TV YouTubers that we watch, Stop the FOMO, and the list goes on, which you probably know them. Digital Trends, Stop the FOMO, Tech with KG, and, you know, the list goes on. He's just starting to call them out because he doesn't agree with their take and on their reviews on how they think about certain TVs. So if we find something that comes up and that's interesting and he calls them out and says some weird stuff, we're probably going to make a video about it just to entertain you guys. So just a heads up. So if we talk about TVs, which probably what's going to happen because he's been starting to do it, it's going to be because of our favorite guy, Quantum TV, that just thinks that he is the most right person and you don't agree with him. He just wants to throw shade at you because you don't agree with his take on a certain TV. Good job, guy. Good job for being sarcastic and being so stupid in a way. Now, I just wanted to throw that out there. But this is Tech and Gaming Reviews, so I know that was actually funny. I know. But let us know in the comments section down below if you think that it's smart that we're actually keeping our LED TVs now instead on top of buying the 2 new OLEDs. And just let us know how hilarious that was at the end of us making fun of Quantum TV with his BS and all that over the other reviewers. So, rate, comment, subscribe. This is Tech and Gaming Reviews. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know in the comment section down below. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.